This is KTVO's Good Morning Heartland.
And welcome back. Each year, thousands seek out Missouri woods and water to participate in one of the oldest sports known to man, trapping. And this morning we have Tyson Hartshorn with us from the Missouri Department of Conservation to tell us more about it. How are you doing?
Doing good.
So first of all, the question is, when are the seasons and what animals fall in those seasons?
The primary season starts November 15th and goes to the end of January, January 31st. Typically the raccoons, coyotes, bobcats, those sort of things are the most common during that season. We also have, with otters and muskrat, goes from November 15th through February 20th.
Okay.
And then November 15th through March 31st, you can pursue beavers.
Okay.
So.
Now let's talk about the permits. Do you need different permits for each one? Tell us about that and how much they cost and all that stuff.
The most important permit is going to be your trapping permit. So make sure you have your current one, that you aren't thinking you have one from last year that's good for this year. So make sure you have your current trapping permit. And depending on how you dispatch the animals, you need to have a small game hunting permit as well. If you shoot your coon out of the trap, you want to have your small game permit as well.
Okay. Now, do you have to go to any classes for these permits, or is it something that you just go and pay and you get?
The only permit that you have to take a class for is the cable restraint. So you want to look into that if you're wanting to use that method of trapping. Otherwise, all you have to do is go purchase that permit, which for a Missouri resident, a trapping permit's $10. Small game hunting permit's also $10. If you're a non-resident, it's going to be quite a bit higher.
Okay, now you just mentioned one type of method, so let's go ahead and talk about the different trapping equipment that people can use.
Okay, the most common would probably be your foothold traps, kind of the atypical ones that you see on TV or in stores. You also have the new dog-proof traps for coon, real handy, keeps a lot of catching people's pets out of there. And also you have your Kona bear traps that you use on beaver, muskrat, that sort of thing, otter as well. And make sure with your trapping equipment you have a shovel, got good boots on, and some warm clothes. It's plenty cold out there.
Yeah, it is. Now let's talk about regulations. What do these trappers need to follow in order to be, within the law?
Well, you want to make sure that you know the wildlife code concerning trapping. The most common regulations you're going to run into is make sure that your traps are properly labeled on a durable material. Most of the time it's going to be a copper tag that they attach and have on there your name and your address, or what's even easier is just have your conservation number stamped on there. Also with the regulations, if you are going after coyotes with like foothold, or your dog proof's going after raccoon, you need to check those traps daily and remove whatever animal you have in there daily. If you're using a Kona bear trap set underwater for beaver or muskrat or otter, they need to be checked at least once every 48 hours. And those are the most common. And also remember that if it's your trap, that you check it and remove the animal. Your friend, your brother, your parents or whatever, they can't do that for you. You have to do that yourself.
Interesting. Now, is there a limit to how many you can capture, or is it free for all?
It's as long as the season is open, there's no limits to what you can trap.
Okay. Now let's talk about bobcat and otters. When do they have to be tagged and how?
They have to be tagged or registered by April 10th, 2014 before you can do anything with them. And what it is the bobcat is a look-alike of the endangered lynx, and the otter is a look-alike, the river otter that we have here in Missouri is a look-alike of the sea otter, which is also endangered. So the tagging that we put on there, registering it, just ensures that it is not one of those endangered animals when it goes to the fur market.
Okay. So do you have any tips for trappers out there, or somebody that's interested in doing this? Are there any kind of things that they should do in order to have a successful trapping season?
Well, if you're new getting into it, go with somebody that knows what they're doing, that are a veteran to the sport, and just learn everything you can from them. and just put the time into it. It takes a lot of time, a lot of dedication. So
and probably some patience too.
Very much, very much.
All right, well, thank you so much, Tyson. What we'll do is we'll post all this information on our website at heartlandconnection.com, and the Missouri Department of Conservation also has a link to all the rules and regulations when it comes to trapping season. Thanks again for coming on.
Thank you.
And we'll be right back.